Good morning, everyone, or good evening, wherever you may be. I know, Sandshark, it is pretty late for you, and thank you for that wonderful intro. Joining me today are CoEmpathy and SegaJunkie. My name is AmberCyprian, and we are presenting on behalf of being contributors and consultants for the 3D Blast Best Ending TAS. We are presenting kids' TAS from 2019 of Sonic 3D Blast, and I just want to very quickly share the story behind how this task came to be before we hit play. I very vividly remember walking through the rain, like walking home on Discord on my phone, talking to Kid, and I was just lamenting about the fact that there was no task for me to work with of this category because I was rerouting this category in late 2018. And Kid just goes, "Why don't you make the task yourself?" And I'm like, with what with what patience to learn the task tools. And Kid got so frustrated with the fact that I proceeded to say, no, I'm not going to make the task myself, but I'm going to be mad that there's no task, that they made it themselves. So without further ado, this is the Best Ending TAS by the0nlykyd from first submitted to TAS videos in April 2019. And if my commentators, while this intro starts, want to introduce themselves as well.
Hi, I'm SegaJunkie, and yeah, Amber, what can I say? You want something done right, do it yourself.
I mean, they weren't wrong.
I'm CoEmpathy,
but, yeah.
And I'm a top runner of this game and helped with the task, or helped consult with some things at least.
Absolutely. So, the objective of this game is, the primary objective is to free flickies from enemies and take them to the goal rings in each stage, and the secondary for this specific category is going to be collect the Chaos Emeralds and beat the final fight. It's a fairly straightforward run, and the game is pretty well put together and doesn't include much in the way of exploits, clips, glitches, etc. There's 2 instances of intentionally taking damage. There are no deaths, no use of level select, and flickies can be grabbed by Sonic or other flickies already attached to Sonic. So the objective here is to collect the 7 Chaos Emeralds while progressing through the game as fast as possible. And you already noticed we're done with the first stage, and at the time this was published, the ILs, that's a 44-second IL. That is absurd. And at the time that this was published, any IL that didn't involve having to route out rings, 50 rings to bring them to Tails or Knuckles to enter a special stage, was faster or matched the IL world record at the time. So this was a very impressive task. It is one of technically 3 finished tasks now, but at the time there was only 1 other finished task of the game. God, there's so much movement tech that is, that's been brought over from the TAS into RTA now, including spin dashes. That's one thing that you'll notice if you've ever played this game casually. There's a lot to talk about with these spin dashes. SegaJunkie, do you happen to remember how these work, or would you like me to explain them?
Not entirely. I just know that you can use 2 buttons to spin dash, and so that lets you charge them like in the 2D games. I can't remember exactly how they found was the best way to do it, but you can charge to a maximum speed in like 16 frames, which is way less than it would if you just held the button.
Yes,
That's about what I remember.
I think it's holding 1 button and mashing jump, I think. I don't use those spin dashes in RTA myself, but yeah. And you'll notice we're getting our first Chaos Emerald with exactly 150 rings, collecting the...
I love the holding out for the last ring right till the end there.
Exactly. So these special stages, there's 7 of them that we're going to visit. We've already visited the first one here in Green Grove 2. That is Knuckles. Look at these spin dashes, my goodness. The next emerald we're going to be picking up is going to be in Spring Stadium 1. That's going to be Tails. Spring Stadium 2 will also be Tails, and Diamond Dust 1 and 2 also Tails. Diamond Dust 2 is also going to pick up a second emerald via Knuckles, and then Volcano Valley 2 Tails will be our final emerald. Most of this route is Tails. I actually don't know what the current world record route uses, but I know that I believe King Roads now has the best ending world record. Maybe I'm wrong, but you're going to see a lot of the beat the game strats until we get to Spring Stadium 1. Speaking of which, we are coming into the first boss of the game, and this is fairly self-explanatory. There is 5 hit points on this boss, and all you have to do is try to lure Eggman to not move while picking up this spike ball. So we're gonna be trying to get him to move as little as possible and try to get 2, 2, and 1 per cycle for hits. And the TAS, of course, is going to do that absolutely beautifully, using the sloped up plateau to be able to hit him a little faster for a 24.
Yeah, so we were talking about Tails and Knuckles special stages. So they are actually different layouts. Whether you pick up Tails or Knuckles in the order. From what I remember, I think we did a bit of analysis on which ones were actually longer, and I don't think there was any appreciable difference in any of them, aside from maybe the second Knuckles one, because I think that has a couple of places where the walls actually stop you and you can't really do anything about it.
It's the other way around. Second Tails is typically a little slower. First and second Tails tend to feel a little slower, especially in RTA because of the walls, than the Knuckles variants. I tend to stick with Knuckles ones, personally, when I'm doing RTA, just because they're easier overall, but with TAS, like, there's no discernible difference. It's just a matter of the physical locations of Knuckles and Tails.
Yeah, I used to run all special stages for this game, doing every single one of them, and I really could not stand the last Tails stage.
It's bad. And you'll actually get to see it here today. But we're going to go into Rusty Rune 2, where we're going to have our first instance of freed flicky flagging. So this was a bit of tech that we found, or not we, but it was found and named by Zergriff, who was a Saturn version runner, who got involved with consultation and routing for the TAS as well down the line. Because I found out, oh, there's another best ending runner, but it's a Saturn runner. Oh my goodness. And SegaJunkie here convinced me to push through my anxiety and actually contact Zergriff and ask if he wanted to be involved with the TAS. And that's how freed flicky flagging came about. But otherwise, most of this stage is going to be a case of... Wait, we didn't even do Rusty Rune 2. No!
No, not this time.
No, that's actually in the route now, but it wasn't at the time that this TAS was made? Are you kidding?
That's a shame, because that's the best instance of it too.
Yeah.
But basically the reason it works, and I think you see it in Diamond Dust, that it makes sense that it would be in Diamond Dust 1 at
yes.
least, is that basically the flickies can have, I think there's 4 states. So they can be trapped, where you haven't killed the enemy yet. They can be freed, where you have killed the enemy, but they're kind of just running loose. They can be following you, or they can be dumped in the ring.
Saved, I think, yeah.
Yep. So any that are freed, so just roaming around, become following you after you exit the special stage. That's basically all that is.
Yeah, so you can kill the enemies, not worry about grabbing the flickies, which costs a lot of time in RTA if you aren't good at it, and just go do the special stage. And by the way, that's a 10. That is a unbeatable IL world record right now. It's just like, you know, the 10 IGT, but it is what it is. If anyone ever gets a 9, I will just, like, I don't know, I'd pay you $50. I shouldn't say that because, you know, CoEmpathy here is going to sit there and find the 9 somehow.
No.
We'll get into that when we get into Spring Stadium 3.
They just jumped off that cannon. I just want to point that out because I know that it will get missed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, so when Kid was designing this task, they got absolutely upset at the fact that some of the most swaggiest strats that they would say had to be cut out of the task because it was best ending. Spring Stadium 1 can pick up and utilize a blast shield or the gold shield to great effect that RTA cannot do. And that would be because you can, so when you use a gold shield not near an enemy, Sonic immediately stomps right down into the ground, and you can immediately, if you're a task, frame perfectly do an optimal spin dash on a straightaway or down a slope or anything that just gets Sonic moving as fast as possible. And we can't do that in RTA, like, it's just not possible or viable. But,
also, these special stages are as lame as you think they are. You can't run off the edges or anything. It's very on rails.
Kid did their best to make these look interesting. Everyone wants to know where we are. And we are in, is it Discount Candyland, or the inside of a clown's pocket, or the inside of a Crayola box? I hate that jump! Kid, you did that to spite me!
I forgot that one was even there!
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, I also forgot that one was there. And oh, that one too. Like, this is just kids swagging on us right now. Just, oh my goodness. But yeah, no, this is just because you could use every crayon in the Crayola box doesn't mean you should. But we're in Discount Candyland. Is that one no, McDonald's Play Place? That's the other one people like to hear?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, that's the other one.
Is that what chat wants to hear? The clown's pocket? Like, what do y'all want? It's like, I will keep saying names for this as much as you want. Alright. So, Spring Stadium 2 is actually a pretty difficult emerald that I personally route out for myself. It is optimal to get it, but I don't like doing so, because we have to give up a gold shield that we get here at the end of Sector 1. Oh my god, these just, like, really absurd, silly jumps. And they don't even get the gold shield because the gold shield is easier to use in RTA, but not in IGT.
Yeah, but also you'd lose it here.
Yeah,
you would lose it here, so there's like no point.
Yeah, there's just no reason to grab it. I don't grab it either.
Like, just... So while we're in the special stage, I just want to take a moment to just say, I love Kid to death. I miss them terribly, but also they designed a number of jumps and like bits in this task just to make me angry when I would watch it, because they would stream making the tasks, and I would come in, I'd watch, and like we'd talk about like the routing throughout the levels, or if I figured out, oh hey, this emerald might be more optimal, and end up making them redo parts of the tasks, and they'd be like, Amber, why are you like this? But like, they did their best to make me as mad as possible with this task, and they succeeded every step of the way. Like, spin dash jumping onto that enemy, like just to pivot immediately, absurd. Doesn't even go back and get the speed shoes, doesn't care, is gonna hit these balloons perfectly. Just, I wish you could style on 3D Blast in RTA like this. Like, I am waiting for it to be possible someday, like you can kind of do it in ILs, but I also want to talk about the fact that for the most part, Sonic's airspeed, like when he's jumping, is actually his fastest speed that he can get. It's oscillating, but it is, you know, the most speed that he can get besides immediate launches off of spin dashes. So, we're gonna come up to, like, the worst flicky in the game, and one of the reasons why I want, like, the gold shield here. Look at those, like, spears there with the flicky. That flicky there in particular is a red one, and if you don't know what the different flicky colors mean, they all have different AIs.
The red ones bounce around and are really difficult to pick up in isometric 3D space.
Yes. Yes, so let's talk about... Let's talk about this boss. So this stage previously held an uncontested IL world record of 18 seconds in-game time for over 10 years by Darkspine Sonic before this task existed. So this was done by landing hits on the boss with very precise positioning and timing to manipulate the AI into a pattern that doesn't allow them to ascend above Sonic's reach. This segment was by far the most difficult and underwent numerous revisions. Void Kura in chat was the first to match the IL world record in RTA and with video evidence of it, but shortly after, CoEmpathy brought that time down to a 17. I don't know how you did it, CoEmpathy, but like the 17 is now very possible.
Yeah.
But very difficult.
On top of that, I remember whenever I got the 17, Kid went into my DMs and was very irritated with me because they had to redo that part of the run, and they really didn't want to.
Yep, because like then they'd have to resync everything else that they'd done. Which reminds me, we're coming up on the first actual instance, not a false alarm here, a freed flicky flagging. We're gonna skip that green flicky but release it. Same with that one and that one. Roll through, spin dash, jump down here, say hi to Tails, and jump into our next special stage. And when we come back, we're gonna have 3 green flickies following us. So how we feeling watching this task? Salty? Because I am. I'm filled with a lot of salt and a lot of love right now.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I want to go so far as to say that actually I remain incredibly amused that Kid put us all down as consultants, because as I recall, I don't remember doing much of anything as far as, you know, actually contributing ideas for routing and stuff.
Well, I actually remember when I was rerouting the category, and you and Kid sat there watching me do a stream of me drawing on like my laptop tablet on the level maps with like a stylus. I was drawing like basically in almost MS Paint, like the different routes and stuff, and y'all were helping me figure out the ring routes. Oh my god, that spin dash though. Why?
Yeah, but
why?
The thing is that you were doing that. Like, I maybe said, hey, maybe that ring's faster to get than that one. Like,
well, that's still helping. It was the first time I've ever done a major reroute of a category at the time, and like, because like I'd been like flirting with running this game on and off, like not seriously at all for years, and then oh my god. And then
that made Kid mad as well, because I found that one and they had to go back and do that.
That's one of what? 3 Lexi jumps. Also, excellent use of using the bumpers to get more speed across ice. That's incredible.
Yeah,
there.
I started doing that at
I
some point.
swear RTA runners
very
do
cool.
that now.
Yeah. And like that was what, Diamond Dust 1?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
130
okay.
with the emerald.
Yes, 130 with the emerald route is absurd.
Yeah, record is like a 123 without the emerald nowadays, and that's after multiple years of updating strats. At the time, it was a 126.
Yeah. Like, it's incredible. Like, the progress, like, this task helped the categories progress over the last, like, 3 years. Which is incredible.
As well, if all of the versions had a task, they would be different, and this level is the reason why.
Yes, actually. So you'll notice we picked up this Tails special stage here. So one thing that is exclusive to the Genesis version that the PC and Saturn versions cannot do, you can get 2 emeralds in the same act in the Genesis version. So, as I mentioned a little bit before, our emerald route includes 2 Chaos Cough drops in this stage particularly. We get both Tails and Knuckles, and that's because you can get a full 50 rings from Tails over to Knuckles in this stage. And it's actually fairly easy to do so as long as you leave this sector, like when you hit the goal ring, with 28 rings or more.
Yeah.
And that's fairly easy to get.
Because after this sector, you have like a 10-second auto-scroller that's just rings. You just get rings.
Yep. So grabbing a couple of rings out of the way there, but by the time... Oh my god, dodging through the snowballs! Why? Oh yeah, no, it's 24 rings, I think. Or maybe they're going to collect all of the rings right in front of Knuckles, maybe?
That's possible.
We usually do 28 in RTA because that's the easiest. But you'll see here this giant auto-scroller leading into Knuckles that's going to give a massive ton of rings. So we have 42 there, 48, 49. Yeah, all the rings in front of Knuckles will get you a 50 if you go in with just 24, but that's really slow to do in RTA. Meanwhile, Knuckles 6 is, like, very claustrophobic with these spike balls. I would say this is probably the second hardest special stage, besides Tails 7. And, like,
I'd say this is the hardest
test,
one that normally gets done in RTA.
Yeah. And, actually, I think the current world record route does still get Tails VV2. Like, I know I can definitely get, like, the world record that existed for best ending, but when this task was published, was by Void Kura. It was like a 39 something or other, 3940 something. I actually don't remember anymore. Oh, 3944, here it is in my notes. It is now obsolete, but I have like a 3959, and that was with a marathon safe version of the route where there's a bunch of backup emeralds, because once you fail an emerald, you can't get that emerald again from the same character. So, like, Knuckles can't... If you failed the Knuckles stage, you have to go find the Tails stage instead in that same act, and, like, that's just not very fast. There are people who are like, the way the background moves in the stage makes me strangely queasy. You are not alone. There are plenty of people who find this, like, kind of nauseating to look at sometimes, and it's understandable.
Speaking of nauseating, this is the best fight in the game.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure that Kid was the first person to figure this out. You can actually get a slight bounce off these snowmen and hit him much higher than you would normally
I remember... Yeah, I think I remember for some reason, like... Did Void's Run, the 3944, try to do this and only get a couple at the time? Or was it Kid found this and Void copied it?
I think it was way before that.
Yeah, okay.
Before that was found.
If
this
was known,
Void came
people
around.
were only doing at most one snowman bounce.
Yeah. And now you've got, like, TGH, Void, and I think Amy, and now... I don't know if Rhodes does it, but yeah, like, that's absurd.
From my memory, so this is a 46, right? Yeah. From my memory, the RTA record in this was 49. And then once that came out, that was possible, people started getting 48s and 47s.
Yeah, like, I actually don't know what the current RTA record is off the top of my head, but I do know that, like, Void was the first person, and for a while, the only person to attempt to do those bounces in RTA. Like, it just was not typically used at all. And then the 3D Blast tournament came around and caused folks like TGH and Amy, or Amethyst, and even King Rhodes to come through and start learning absurd things. I don't know. I need to ask Rhodes if he does the snowman bounces, because I genuinely don't know. But this is Volcano Valley. Act 1 is not particularly remarkable outside of, you know, the typical absurd task movement. Except for that. I forgot that happened. I haven't watched... I'll be upfront. I have not watched this task in full since it was published, actually. So it's been a good 3 years. But I've like, referenced it. Yeah, I've referenced it. But, like, I have not watched it in full in one sitting in a long time. And we're going to be moving into Volcano Valley 2, which is actually going to give us our final emerald, which is going to be the Tails Emerald. And one of the reasons... Oh, wow, that speed off that, like, slope jump was absurd. So, one thing that's kind of unfortunate in this stage in RTA is that you have to give up your Fire Shield if you're going for this emerald. And Fire Shield makes, which is the red shield you see before you, makes Sonic and his Flickies invincible to walking on lava, being touched by fire. That was an absurd Flicky tail grab. Oh my goodness. And I actually routed this one.
That's about 7 or 8 of them now.
Yep. And, like, so we're gonna grab Tails here, and this is the last one. This is the hardest special stage in the game, and that's, like, not saying a whole lot, but, like, at this point the special stages are going much faster than stage 1. So it can get a little rough if you don't know the layout. Now that said, when we come out of this special stage, we're gonna have no shield. And we actually started routing in Tails Volcano Valley 2 because of Zergriff's Sega Saturn version route. Like, he was doing it, and I was like, I never thought about using that one. And he was like, oh, I just used it because I knew where it was. Which is like Zergriff in a nutshell.
It can be a bit like that in Volcano Valley, and indeed, quite a few of the levels, because they're in kind of hidden blocks out of the way.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you have to break a wall for that one. And, kid is moving through this. My goodness.
I love the getting stopped by the block right next to the lava.
They're doing the flicky lure.
Yeah, like, luring the AI of... Oh my god. So, that whole section that the task makes extremely light work of with the flamethrowers and everything, that is the section we want the RTA fire shield for.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons I personally don't do Volcano Valley 2 Tails. I know that I believe the world record does it, but the world record is way faster than I am now. So, meanwhile, we are this is a boss, and you got to try to make these boss fights look interesting. So that was the entire intro of the boss, and now the boss is dead.
Yeah, most of the time runners will actually attack from the top left instead of the top right. Kids just messing around, of course.
Yeah, you can still do the same kind of strat from any angle, but it's just easiest from top left. So meanwhile, Gene Gadget is, oh my god, standing
there it is.
Yep, standing on turrets and making me angry. So, let's talk about Gene Gadget. I tell people who want to get into 3D blast speedrunning that if you want to learn the game, you should learn the ILs you should learn first. And I told this to TGH, who learned the game from me. Learn to run Gene Gadget first. This is the hardest zone in the game, and if you can run this, you can run anything else in this game. And I mean that. If you can get through this barrier of entry, you're probably good to learn the rest of the game.
I wish somebody had told me that when I learned to play the game, because I would have played this and then not bothered to learn the rest.
Fair enough. So at this point in the game, there's mostly green and red flickies, as you'll notice. The occasional purple, but you won't see blues until Panic Puppet again. And red and greens are the most frustrating, with reds having the bouncing random AI, and then the greens having random wandering AI. I could get more into that via Upthorn's summary of flicky AI, but that's a whole other rabbit hole. There is a resource for that. There's a video of me explaining green flicky AI elsewhere in the Sonic 3D Blast Discord, but there's also Gene Gadget 2, which is what most new runners get stumped by, and it's because of the slope, not soap, of rage.
Not soap.
Not soap, although I hate everything right now, that turret jump, or that turret spin dash. And Kid's just not going to care. Oh my god. This route is actually faster than what we do in RTA for most runners. I'm very mad. Every single turret jump, I'm just so mad.
They just get on every turret just to anger you specifically.
Yep. I remember when they were like, Amber, you gotta watch my stream. Yeah, they wanted to watch my reaction in chat, and they would play this for me, and I was like, I hate everything. Here we go. Nice. Oh my god.
I actually love that one. That's probably my favorite one.
That one is so cool.
I agree. That one's amazing.
That one's not just spitefully look what I can do and you can't because you're a human, but it is also just actually really cool. I cannot believe how cool that one is. Now, Gene Gadget 3 is kind of... it's the auto-scroller. And, there's... I'll talk about a quick fun fact here, actually, with Gene Gadget 3. Between Genesis and then the Saturn and PC version, the blocks that are coming out on the conveyor belt, the spike blocks, those are actually different but set patterns. Genesis has its own set pattern that is not random at all. And then... PC and Saturn have this have their own set pattern that is different from Genesis, but is always the same to each other. and PC and Saturn actually have the easier pattern of blocks to avoid, believe it or not.
They're also faster.
They're also slightly faster.
I think this may have been the one thing in the run that I actually pointed out to Kid as well, that you can stand at 45 degrees to the conveyor belt and it won't push you anywhere.
Yeah, it pushes you at like the speed of 3 pixels per second, I think. And that's it.
That looks about right. Of course, that saves absolutely no time, but, you know.
It makes it easier.
Yeah. Don't have to think.
You basically... Oh, go ahead.
You don't have to think about it at all.
Like, you basically just T-pose on Eggman to show your dominance, and you try to time his cycles when he's lowering, because he's on a set cycle based on when you hit him, versus when he'll lower. And, yeah, like, that's basically how that boss functions. Now, here in Panic Puppet 1, according to the lore of the game, Eggman was running out of time to put flickies into enemies, and therefore started to put them into these containers that is honestly worse than the enemies because of their collision and how much higher you have to hit them to be able to break them. There's a turret jump again, like an absolute, like...
That's a really cool turret jump. I like that one.
Yeah. Like, I like all of these. I am still mad every time I see one of these. So Kid ignores the
invincibility.
Safety invincibility, thank you. And then goes on the world's slowest conveyor belt. I wish I had a gif of Rick Astley to put here, because that's what TGH does. Just like during this, just Rick Astley actually goes to everything in this game. There's the Lexi jump, like what, 500? Lexi jump 500?
Actually, this was the one that Kid had the hardest time pulling off. They spent days trying to get that one. Even though I just randomly could get it in ILs.
That sounds about right.
Let me read these notes from Kid's submission. Panic Puppet 2, mainly noteworthy for being the only action stage without flickies, was surprised at how much time was saved by collecting the super sneakers here, as they were somewhat out of the way. One of the biggest disappointments in the entire run was the fact that I couldn't find a way to skip the sliding platform on the last big slope, but I'm content with the spin dash strat that came out of these attempts. Also, one more important thing, Eggman! Very important. Shoutouts to Swezzy, who is about to run Celeste after this. They are the source of this. They are another 3D blast runner.
I'm actually kind of shocked there's not a turret jump there.
Same, honestly. Like, and Kid obliterating what... Oh, there it is. There it is. There's a turret jump.
There's the obligatory turret jump.
And, yeah, like, I just... Everyone's just like, cure Eggman's in chat. It's like, oh, you have no idea. So this is what would normally be the final boss in the Beat the Game task, and Kid, I didn't realize you could do this. I'm very mad, actually. One interesting thing about this boss fight in particular is that in Phase 3, you can actually stay on the right...
absolutely get mad at the wrong things. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, no, that was dumb. That was absolutely dumb. But, like, on the right shoulder, on the next phase coming after this this flamethrower thing, which, by the way, Argic gave Kid this tech, by the way, just, like, spin dashing and bouncing off like a, billiard ball. We call that the Argic, I guess. But this next phase coming up, Bailey Renee casually was playing the game and found out that the right side shoulder also counts for the left side hitbox, and Kid was like, yo, I'm totally gonna put that in the task, until we found out it was like, what, like 70 or 17 frames slower or something like that? You lose some amount of seconds.
I think it's about 3 seconds, because
it's about
three times.
Yeah. Learned that it was really frustrating because I couldn't get like good times in this. I was so confused because I was putting it all in. And I would get like 146s and be really confused about it.
Yeah, and then Kid did research and was like, oh, this is actually still just slower to jump at the right shoulder constantly, because, like, we'll do that in 2 players 1 controller runs, because A, it's funny, and B, like, those are not gonna be, like, as fast as the world record single player, or even me playing one-handed, but, like, still.
I think it actually works On the second phase too, but you've got to dodge the flames, so it's not worth it.
Yeah, it's absolutely not worth it. And we're going to go into the final fight, which is fixed attack periods and vulnerability periods, and the only way to really be fast in this stage is not taking hits during the vulnerability periods that Eggman has, and launching the spin dashes on the bridges at the earliest possible frame. And you'll see what we mean in a second after we get through this first phase. But when they designed this game, they were like, yo, this is following up Sonic 3 and Knuckles, which has, like, this really cool Doomsday boss fight, for getting all the emeralds and Supersonic and all that good stuff, and I'm actually very mad watching that, by the way. And it's like, yeah, we can totally just, you know, give them a really cool boss fight for the final fight, right? If you call this, you know, the same 5 phases over and over again, cool, sure. It's got great music, though. It is a big jam. But meanwhile, we're actually going to be trying to keep these hands as close to the center here as possible. Largely because you're going to see what happens after this next hand slams down. I think it's like, what, on the third one? No, it's after this one. Yeah, it's 3 of these. And then on the 4th one, they're actually going to move to slide across, and there you go. So we want to keep the hands as close to the center as possible because of that. And I remember, like, when Kid found out that, like, you could, you know, the earliest frame possible for the bridges to appear was just something that a human would not be able to discern. Kid was like, yeah, you can release a spin dash before the bridge appears, but, like, I would not recommend trying to do that in RTA. Now, what they're doing here is actually not what we do in RTA anymore. We actually never did the spin dashes either. I'm probably about to be pretty mad watching this. I'm mad at everything in this task, but I'm also delighted by everything in this task. The actual easiest, safest point in front of Eggman in that last phase with the balls before we start, like, you know, repeating all of this is directly in front of the boss. TGH and I found that, and it's absolutely hilarious. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna fire a gun at you. Where's the safest place to stand? Point blank. But the rest of this task is just kind of swagging on the repeat phases. And so there's some special thanks that went out for this task by Kid. They thanked myself, SegaJunkie, CoEmpathy, and Zergrif, who I've all mentioned, like, you know, routing and consultation, and SegaJunkie helped with the task video submission too, as well as finding the RAM values for a few things, like telling us how to do that. And some external references that were used when putting this together were Comical Flop's task thread on the Sonic Center, Void Kura's now obsolete world record of 3944, the any % task by Master of Pigs, which is also now obsolete because of Kid, and the 3D Blast disassembly by Sonic Retro. Thank you to all of those involved that allowed this task to be possible. And thank you both to SegaJunkie and CoEmpathy putting, you know, time aside to present this task as well. And, one thing, that Kid's going to do here is easily the funniest thing in this fight that you could do. It's like, oh no, there's all these bullets. Whatever will I do? I'm just gonna weave through them all. And there you go. Time is gonna be on the fade out. Assuming a timer has been started, but there you go. That's a 3:36 on the final fight. The total time for this task in RTA, according to the SRC rules, is 35:40. The combined IGT, I actually don't know, but it had a total of 129,156 frames from boot to last input. And yeah, that is the 3D Blast Best Ending TAS and its first public presentation. We miss you, Kid, and I really wish that you were here to present this with us like we wanted to back in 2019. I know that burnout happened, and, you know, you just kind of, like, crawled off the internet for a while when you finished this task, but just know that it has done the community an incredible service, and that you were incredible and a very valued member of the community, despite not liking running the game yourself. but you enjoyed tassing it and you enjoyed cheering all of us on as we were improving, any new runners coming in. Like, you were and still are a part of the international isometric salt mine, and we love you and we miss you.
Yeah, I definitely want to.
Oh, I'm really sorry. I did want to mention one thing before I hand it over to you, Sega, if that's okay.
Yep, go.
All right. During that run, just near the end, we just actually reached $4,400 raised for the Trevor Project. Thank you so much. I just wanted to put that out there. I saw everyone hyping in the chat. I wanted to say thank you so much. It really means a lot.
Yeah, that's incredible. The Trevor Project meant a lot to Kid, and it means a lot to us here at Fast Paced Events. So thank you so much so far for all of these generous donations. And we're not even, we're barely an hour or two into day two's, live time. So thank you all so much. And join us all in saying hashtag GNU, the only kid, because we do not want to allow, Kid's spirit to, just kind of dissipate into the ether. Their name, as long as their name is spoken, their spirit will stay with us. But SegaJunkie, you were saying.
So I wanted to kind of add on to what you were saying. So as someone that has made tool assisted runs before, they are not exactly easy things to make. Not if you want to make them well. I've done a few for games that I know well, and it's taken me quite a while to get the hang of getting the absolute best out of every situation possible. For a kid to be able to do that with a game that they not only had no particular childhood attachment to, but also didn't feel super strongly about, is remarkable. Like, even the willingness to take on the project at all, but then also the fact that they did it to such a high standard as well. It's actually one of, this project is basically what brought us all together, right? Yep. So this is, definitely what I remember about them is their willingness to go above and beyond. And I think that spirit is encapsulated here.
Yes. I just want to bring up the fact that I haven't brought up. This was their first task. The only other task they did was the beat the game version of the game, of the run, that they did later in 2019 or early 2020. I can't quite remember, but that is also available on task videos. You should check that out as well. And do you have any closing words, the two of you?
Oh, those were mine. So, Lexi?
No, I don't really have any closing words right now.
Absolutely. But thank you both for joining me. Lexi, we will see you tomorrow as well for the 3D Blast Relay.
And also later today.
Oh my goodness, right, you're running Sonic Adventure 2. So, I think that's going to be it for us. I will catch you all later as I am commentating the 3D Blast Relay. I've been up since last night, and I did the overnight shift, so I'm going to bed. And if you have been up overnight like I have, you probably need to go to bed too. There will be plenty of VODs on the Fast Paced Events YouTube that'll be coming up. So just take care of yourselves. That's the most important thing. Just don't burn yourselves out to watch us. We will still be here when you wake up. That's going to be it from us. And we're going to turn it on over to Celeste and Swezzy. Good luck.
What a touch. What a touching tribute to the only kid that was. Thank you so much, Amber and SegaJunkie and CoEmpathy, for that very emotional presentation there. Let's have some round of applause in the chat there. Doing a few donations that came through during the run. $50 donation here from Void Cura. I just want to say I'm so proud of everyone here putting together such a fun and amazing event in memory of Kid. Much love to all the people putting their time and energy into this wonderful event, and stay cute, chat. Love heart. We have a $50 donation here from Nintendo Slave. Amazed by this entire weekend so far. Happy to be able to support this event and a great charity. Let's go. And a $10.05 donation from J Jam. They say, Eggman! Yes, Eggman indeed. We have a $9.64 donation from Roman. Much love to everyone involved in this incredible marathon. Massive shoutouts to the organizers, volunteers, runners, and all the lovelies in chat. It is all of you who make this community so wholesome and a blast to be a part of. Stay awesome and stay hydrated. We also have a $5 donation here from Lacus, and they say, thank you all again. And with that, everyone, that is actually my time as a host for the Only Marathon. From the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you all for your incredible support so far. Raising money for a cause so close to the Only Kid's heart. I never personally knew the Only Kid, but it is evident from this marathon and from the words from Amber and Co. how many people's lives that they touched, and it is so heartwarming to see everyone come together to support a cause that was close to their heart. DNU, the Only Kid. And thank you all for being so incredible. Be sure to stick around. We still got around about 48-ish hours left of the marathon. Celeste will be coming up next by Swessi, so be sure to stick around for that. The next host who will be joining you, though, is the one and only Argic. Yes, the actual owner of the channel himself. I should probably get out and make room for the king. So thank you all. And we'll also be having a restream change, so please don't panic if you see a few things happening. We'll get that sorted out, so be sure to sit tight. And Argic will be joining you very shortly. Thank you so much, everyone. This has been Sandshark, signing out.